This is not just another English video. And this is definitely not about grammar or fancy words. Stay with me for a few minutes, because what I'm about to tell you might completely change the way you speak English forever. Have you ever opened your mouth to speak, and nothing came out? Your heart beats fast, your palms sweat, and suddenly every English word you know disappears. You feel nervous, stuck, embarrassed, and you think, maybe I'm just not good enough. But what if I told you that fear is not your enemy? What if fear is actually your hidden teacher? Because the moment you stop fighting fear, you start learning from it. My name is Peter, and this is English Unlocked, the place where we don't just learn English, we unlock your confidence. Today, I'll show you how to turn fear into focus and how small, calm steps can make you fluent, not only in English but in life. You don't need to be fearless to speak well. You just need to speak, even when you're afraid. So take a deep breath, and let's begin. When I started learning English, I was very nervous. One day, my teacher asked me a simple question in English. I wanted to answer, but my mouth did not move. My heart was beating fast. My hands were cold. My mind went blank. I forgot all the words I knew. After class, I felt sad. I said to myself, why can't I speak? I study every day. That moment was very hard for me. But later, I started to think, maybe I was not bad at English. Maybe I was just scared. I began to see something new. Fear was not my enemy. Fear was my body trying to protect me. It wanted me to be safe. When I understood this, I felt calm. So I told myself, it's okay to be scared. I can still try. I started to speak one short sentence each day. Sometimes I made mistakes. Sometimes I forgot words. But I didn't stop. Each small try made me a little stronger. Each small word gave me a little more peace. Slowly, I started to feel more free. And that was the first step, not to fight fear, but to walk with it. After that first time, I wanted to understand my fear. Why did I feel so scared when I spoke English? I asked myself again and again. One day, I read a simple idea. It said, your brain wants to keep you safe. When I speak English, my brain thinks, this is danger. It is not real danger, but my brain doesn't know that. It just wants to help me. So my fear was not bad. It was trying to protect me. I smiled when I learned this. I said to myself, oh, I see now. My fear is only doing its job. This small thought changed everything. I stopped being angry at my fear. I stopped saying, why am I like this? Instead, I said, thank you, fear, but I am okay. From that day, I started to feel more calm. I understood that fear is not the problem. Running away from fear is the problem. So I decided to face it, step by step. Each time I felt scared, I told myself, it's okay. I can still speak. Sometimes my voice was shaking. Sometimes I forgot words. But I was not afraid of being afraid anymore. And that simple understanding made me feel lighter, freer, and a little more brave than before. After I understood my fear, something new happened. One evening, I was talking with a friend about my problem. I told him, I always feel scared before I speak English. He smiled and said, Peter, you don't need to fight your fear. You can talk with it. Those words touched my heart. Talk with my fear? I never thought about that before. But that night I wanted to try. The next morning I looked in the mirror and said softly, "Hello, fear. I know you are here. Let's go to class together." At first it felt a little funny, but I smiled and my body felt a little more relaxed. That small moment became a big change for me. I started to see fear not as my enemy, but as my small friend. When I felt nervous, I didn't say, "Go away." I said, "Okay, fear, let's do this together." It was strange but powerful. Each time I spoke like that, my heart became calmer. I made mistakes, yes, but I didn't feel bad. I just kept going step by step. And one day, I realized something beautiful. When I accepted my fear, I also accepted myself. That was the real turning point in my English journey. Not the day I spoke perfectly, but the day I stopped fighting and started walking with peace. After that turning point, I started to do something new every day. Before class, before meetings, or before I spoke English, I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and said softly, "Hello, fear. I know you are here. Let's do this together." At first, it felt strange. Sometimes I even laughed at myself. But after a few days, I started to feel more calm. The fear was still there, but it was smaller, softer. It was like walking with a friend instead of fighting with an enemy. One day, before a big presentation, my hands were shaking again. But this time, I didn't panic. I said, "Okay, fear, I know you're here. Let's breathe." And I smiled. My body slowly relaxed. I spoke slowly, not perfectly, but with peace in my heart. That moment was special. I learned that I don't need to wait until fear goes away. I just need to walk with it. Each time I did that, I felt stronger and more free. Little by little, my fear became my partner. It didn't stop me anymore. It helped me stay awake, careful, and real. So now, when I feel scared, I don't say, "Oh no, not again." I say, "Welcome back, my friend. Let's talk." And somehow, that simple talk makes me brave again. After I learned to talk to my fear, something new happened. I started to see that fear was not my enemy. It was a sign that I was growing. When I felt scared before speaking English, it only meant that I was doing something brave. Before, I always tried to hide my fear. I wanted people to think I was strong and confident. But now, I understand something different. Real confidence is not about having no fear. It is about moving forward even when you feel afraid. One day, I was speaking English in front of many people. My hands were cold, my heart was fast. But I remembered my small rule: breathe, smile, and speak anyway. And guess what? It worked. I made some mistakes, but people listened. They smiled back. They understood my message. That day, I learned something very deep. When you accept your fear, it becomes your teacher. It teaches you to stay calm, to breathe, and to try again. Every time you speak with fear, you build a little more courage. Now, when I meet students who say, "I'm too scared to speak," I smile and say, "Good. That means you're ready to grow." Because growth always starts with a small step into fear. And every small step makes you stronger, calmer, and freer. After I learned to walk with my fear, I began to see English speaking in a new way. Before, I always felt like I was standing on a big stage. I thought everyone was watching me, waiting for my mistakes. That made me feel small, nervous, and tense. But one day I asked myself, what if this is not a show? What if it's just a talk? That small question changed everything. I started to see speaking as a moment to connect, not to perform. I didn't need to be perfect. I just needed to be real. So I tried something simple. When I spoke English, I imagined I was talking to a friend over coffee. I used short sentences, simple words, and a warm smile. And you know what? People listened more. They didn't care if my grammar was wrong. They cared if I spoke with heart. That was a big change for me. I stopped acting like a student taking a test. I started speaking like a person sharing a story. English became more fun, more alive. Now I tell my students, don't try to be perfect. Try to be present. Because when you speak from your heart, people feel your message. And when you stop trying to perform, you finally start to enjoy speaking. It's no longer a test, it's a connection. It's your voice. It's your story. After I learned to speak from my heart, something new happened. I started to notice how my mind always ran too fast. When I talked in English, I thought about the next word, the next sentence, or my mistakes. My mind was never here, in this moment. One day, I was talking to a friend in English. I was so worried about grammar that I forgot to listen to her. She smiled and said, "Hey, it's okay. Just talk to me." That simple moment woke me up. I realized I was not living the talk. I was fighting it. From that day, I tried something different. I slowed down. I looked at the person I spoke to. I listened. And when I forgot a word, I just smiled and used another one. I stayed calm. I stayed here. It was amazing. When I stopped thinking too much, my English became more natural. My words came easier. My voice sounded more relaxed. People could feel that I was really with them. So now, when I speak, I don't chase the perfect sentence. I enjoy the small talk, the little pause, the laugh. Because being present is more powerful than being perfect. When you stay in the moment, you feel free. And that freedom, that calm, makes your English shine. After I learned to stay calm and live in the moment, I began to see something new. Learning English is not a race. It's a journey, one small step after another. Before, I wanted to speak fast, to be perfect, to sound like a native. But now I understand progress is slow, and that's okay. Every day I did one small thing. I listened to one short story. I wrote one simple sentence. I learned one new word. Sometimes I made mistakes. Sometimes I forgot. But I didn't stop. One day I looked back and thought, well, I can say things I couldn't say before. That feeling was amazing. Not because I was perfect, but because I was growing. And that growth came from small, simple steps. So if you feel slow, don't worry. You are not behind. You are learning at your own speed. Every small step is a win. Every word you say is progress. Now, when I speak English, I feel more free. I don't chase big results anymore. I enjoy each moment, each try, each word. Because I know Real change comes little by little, step by step. And that's how we move from fear to freedom. After I learned to move step by step, I found another secret: connection. I started to talk with people, not just study alone. At first, I was scared. What if they laugh at my English? I thought. My hands were cold, my heart beat fast. But then I tried. I said a few simple words, and you know what? They smiled. They understood me. That moment changed everything. I saw that English is not about perfect grammar. It's about connection. It's about sharing your heart, your ideas, your feelings. When I spoke with others, I felt alive. Each small talk made me stronger inside. I started to enjoy it, even when I made mistakes. I learned to listen more, to smile more, to speak slowly and clearly. And people listened to me too. That gave me confidence. It made me believe I can really do this. Step by step, I became more relaxed. I was no longer afraid of speaking. Now, when I talk in English, I don't think too much. I just connect. Because communication is not about being perfect. It's about being real. And when you speak with your heart, your English becomes beautiful. Now I feel something new: freedom. I don't study English because I have to. I do it because I love to. I can speak, write, and listen without fear. It feels so light, so free. When I speak now, I don't worry about mistakes. I just enjoy the moment. Sometimes, my English is not perfect, and that's okay. Because language is not only about words. It's about who you are. It's about your story, your voice. And every voice matters. Your voice matters too. When I talk with people from other countries, I feel connected. It's amazing. One language helps us understand each other. We share ideas, dreams, and even laughter. That's what learning English really gives you: connection and freedom. So if you are still afraid, don't stop. Keep going one small step every day. You don't need to be perfect to be understood. You just need to be real, to be brave, to be you. And one day you'll feel it too, that sweet freedom of speaking with confidence and peace. Thank you, my friend, for walking with me through this story. I hope you can feel more calm, more brave, and more free in your English journey. Before we end, I want to share 2 simple tips that helped me grow. Tip 1. Don't be afraid to speak, even with mistakes. Every word you say is a step forward. Tip 2. Learn a little every day. Small steps make big change over time. If you enjoyed this story and want more lessons like this, don't forget to follow and subscribe. Your support means a lot and keeps this journey alive. Thank you for listening. Keep learning, keep shining, and I'll see you in the next episode.